psychopath.
Hey, boys.
Yo,
What's up, Glenjamin?
Hello.
If you if Glenn, wait, is your video on, Glenn?
Yeah, now it is.
There it is. Whoa! The big reveal. Tommy Shelby here. What's going on? This is nuts. Is this for Arch Enemy?
It's not for Arch Enemy. No. You know, the truth is, I just every once in a while need to do something insane.
Oh, mission accomplished.
There really is no other explanation for it. I just every once in a while I just have to do something.
So this is not even movie related. This is just you just wanted a haircut and you said shave the sides.
I just said, yeah, just shave off the sides, and I just want to feel like a new man.
You know what's bullshit is it works.
Yeah, you pull it off. That's fucking annoying.
Like every time I watch Peaky, I'm like, I'd love a haircut like that.
Yeah.
And then I have two concerns. One, I'd look like I'm in the Hitler Youth. And two is that I wouldn't be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
And here you are looking fucking great still.
You know, it's all right. Yeah, it's okay. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it for.
Probably feels great though, right? Nothing on your ears. It's so tight on the sides. That's my dream.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun to play with.
What goes on in the back? Does it go all the way around? I've never seen the back of Tommy Shelby. How does that? Does it come to a point? Do you just do it all the way around 360?
Yeah, it just kind of comes to a little.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's the last previous to this? What was the other, like the latest crazy thing you did when you just had to go do something bananas?
It's been a while. Usually what I often do when I'm not working on anything, if I know I've got a lot of time before I'm going to shoot something else, is I just shave the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I just do this to the whole thing. It's like a cleansing.
Yeah. Feels good.
See, that's another thing I'd like to do is just shave it. And I'd like to bleach it like you have it in Arch Enemy.
Yeah.
And I'm just always scared it's not coming back.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
well, I used to shave it when I was like mid-20s and I was safe.
Yeah.
Now, like 30 plus, especially the dyeing, I was told, you bleach it that it just like kills your hair and it's never coming back, and I can't risk that.
Right. Yeah. No, it does start to get a little dodgy as we get older, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep an eye on things because, things will start to thin out without you even realizing it. I mean, I was doing this thing this morning for Entertainment Weekly, and they were showing me like a clip of something that I did on ER 17 years ago, and I was like, "Oh shit, man! Like, my hair was definitely thicker."
Yeah, right. 17 years ago, of course, it better be shit.
But at least you're skinny though. Like I can't be fat and bald, right? I can only be one or the other.
Yeah.
And like, right now, I'm really holding on to fat, but I can't add bald into the mix.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's funny though, because like I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like, when I see like dudes that are bald or dudes that like have a receding hairline or like are balding in places like what. It doesn't look bad to me. Like I'm just like whatever. Like it doesn't. But like the thought of me balding is like horrifying.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, because I really don't. It doesn't look that bad to me when I look at it.
It's like any form of dysmorphia.
You're pretty right. Like I'm never like, oh my god, look at this freak. He doesn't have hair.
Right.
So I was like, okay, yeah, that's a bald person.
But if I had that, I'd like chop my head off. I'd be like, that's it. I gotta kill myself. Life's over.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also like, I don't know about you. I mean, I just went like growing up, I always had like just a giant thick head of hair. And like when I was in high school, it was like really curly and just, it was out of control how much hair I had, that I think that like a lot of my identity is wrapped up in having like a big full head of hair. And
Definitely.
if that went away, I'd be like, well, now what am I?
Yeah, like what? Yeah, who am I? Do I even exist anymore? Like I don't have hair. I don't even exist.
You know who's to blame for all that is our relatives. Because I was the same way, and I had my aunts and my grandparents be like, he's such a beautiful head of hair. And then for 15 years, you hear that, and you're like, that's an important part of me.
It's mommy saying, you're the prettiest boy.
Right.
You're the most. I am like the spinning image of my mom's dad. And he died with a full head of hair, and everybody has always been like, well, you're going to have hair until the day you die. And then I was like 29 and I posted a picture on the internet and everyone was like, "Oh, you're going bald, motherfucker." And I was like, "Oh shit," because it never even crossed my mind as a possibility because I was just told my whole life you're gonna look like him until you're dead. So then I just got on Propecia and the gummies and the shampoo.
Got super suicidal.
Yeah, I got depressed and I went to. But yeah, it's like I feel like hair is the one thing that men, at least stereotypically speaking, rival women when it comes to looks and, the superficiality. You get a bunch of guys in a room talking about their hair and it becomes like, "Oh my God, yours is so thick. Your hairline's so beautiful." We become a bunch of girls talking about it. It's definitely who we are.
It is true. I don't think girls realize that we are capable of having a long conversation, even as long as this has gone on for.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're about 10 minutes in.
10 minutes in right now.
Yeah, I'm like, "Glenn, give me your shampoo, give me your routine. What do you do?" Yeah, well, the hair, it's working for you. I feel like I've never seen pictures of you with your head shaved. Did you used to do that in between shooting and just kind of stay in hiding? Or am I just not remembering?
Yeah. There's one floating around out there that I think I posted on Twitter like 10 years ago. I remember my wife and I traveled all around Europe for like 3 months back in 2010. And I just didn't want to have to worry about getting a haircut on that trip. So like somewhere like, I don't know, a month into that trip, I was just like,
so freeing. So good.
There's one out there. There's one out there.
If Glenn was short for something, oh yeah, I'm looking at it right
Oh
there.
yeah,
wow.
You look fantastic
with the riot shirt and everything. Yeah, you're badass, dude. I would not fuck with that Glenn Howerton.
You look like you're Danny Vineyard's friend in American History X, and not to be fucked with.
If Glenn was short for something, would it be Glenjamin, Glennard, Glenneth? What would it be? What would you want it to be?
Let's go with Glennard Skinnard.
Glennard.
Whoa!
Glennard Skinner. I like that. Glennard Howerton. It's got a very ritzy vibe.
I've heard it all though. Growing up, Glenjamin a lot.
Yeah.
A couple of Glendolins, which I personally found quite clever.
I find it
very pretty.
It's a very pretty name. Gwendolyn.
It's a beautiful name, Glenn.
Yeah, Lady Gwendolyn was like a beautiful woman, supposedly.
So we just talked to Joe Manganiello yesterday, actually, and he's coming in hot with the shaved head as well, looking pretty menacing. And
yeah, am I stealing his thunder? That was not my intention. I actually thought about that because I saw him on Instagram with a shaved head, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna think I'm like doing his thing.
Leader. Yeah, you totally bit his style.
You don't have the same haircut.
Not at all.
They both do look menacing. They're both intimidating haircuts. But I wouldn't say you stole
the movie though, man. It's a fucking wild one. It's a trip.
That's fun.
There is some shit in there that I don't think I've ever seen before in a movie. It's when you see a script like that, is that something like, are you apprehensive about it being crazy? Are you thrilled that it's like something you've never seen before? What goes through your mind when you read some of the wacky shit that goes on?
Well, the first thing that goes through my mind, honestly, is I want to know who the filmmaker is, and I want to see what else he's done, or she, because I just want to make sure that the person I'm getting into business with is capable of pulling it off. Because the script is, it was pretty ambitious, for the budget and the time frame that they were talking about shooting it in, and so the first thing I did was I watched. They sent me. This was before his movie that came out just before Arch Enemy, Daniel Isn't Real. It was before it had even come out. So SpectreVision, the company that produced Arch Enemy and Daniel Isn't Real, sent me that movie. I watched it and was like blown away. If you guys haven't seen that movie, it's so good. Mm-hmm. And then, next step was, sitting down with Adam. This part of me was like, this is going to sound kind of fucked up, but I was almost a little like, if this guy wants me to play the main bad guy in his action movie, is there something wrong with this guy? Like, why does this guy think that's a good idea? And if he thinks that's a good idea, because I don't have a proven track record playing, actually menacing, like playing psychopath. Sure.
Yeah.
In a comedy, but like he's ultimately, like, I mean, the character I have to play in Arch Enemy has to feel truly menacing. Like, it has to be like this. He's the main bad guy. That's a lot of, responsibility. And Adam was just like, I can see it. I know you can do it. And
what does that say about you? Forget about him. It's like, I need someone who's like a bloodthirsty, maniacal, like evil man. Let me call him Glenn.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting. And then he also casts, Paul Scheer, to play another menacing psychopath in the movie. And I was like, okay, this could go all kinds of wrong. But I knew for my own part, I mean, I knew I could play it. I was scared to play it, quite frankly, because I hadn't done anything quite that dramatic in a while. And I just wanted to do right by the movie. I wanted to do right by, look, I mean, it's a big starring role for Joe too. And I wanted to do right by Joe. I mean, Joe's done, a lot of action movies, and, he's like a 6'4", 200 pound, fucking beast. And I'm this like 155 pound, wimp. I gotta bring it in the eyes and in the intensity in order to have people believe that he could, be a problem for Joe Manganiello.
Did you find yourself at all channeling any like Dennis Reynolds psychopath type of sociopath type of shit? Because you say like you haven't done it, but in some of Dennis's darker moments, when you see those things where they recut a comedy to look like a horror movie or whatever, you could really do that with some of Dennis's darker shit. So I feel like you're right on the edge there with some of your previous acting.
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. It's weird. It's like I've always really kind of studied and respected and liked those actors where the difference between their comedy and their drama is like one notch of the dial, or maybe two notches. Like Alec Baldwin in a dramatic performance, you dial it up one tiny little notch, and it's a comedic performance.
Right.
I've always just kind of. That's always what I've striven for. So like strived.
Straved. It's shrewd actually. I struved for it.
So yeah, I mean, with Dennis, I mean, I always thought it would be funnier with Dennis if it wasn't funny. If it was really menacing and scary, but what he's saying is so ridiculous and so insane that you sort of have to laugh, because if not, you're like genuinely disturbed. So you're forcing people to laugh so that they're not disturbed.
Yes. Like if I don't laugh, I have to like cry and run. So I'm gonna just laugh about this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew that while the character needed to be scary in Arch Enemy, I also knew that it could be fun. I wanted it to be fun to watch and fun to play. So it was just kind of tweak. Yeah, I think it's in some ways like kind of tweaking what I do on Sunny maybe a little bit to just make it a little more real.
We got a young guy here who's helping us out with social media, and he's focusing on TikTok because we're old and washed up, and TikTok is beyond us. And a lot of what we're not going to dance, so a lot of the only thing that we can contribute is where we kind of we mouth and lip sync to our favorite scenes. And we're working on the implication. There's a lot of back and forth that we got to nail the timing. But trying to even just lip sync the implication the right way is boy, that was a special scene, Glenn. That was special.
Yeah, that was. I got to give Rob and Charlie full credit for that, because that was something. I was off like breaking another story with the writers and working on a different episode while the two of them were writing that episode. And I remember I came in one day to, I was like, how's it going, guys? And they were like, dude,
we got something.
They were like, we just wrote something for you. Like they were all proud. They were like, they just knew. They knew. Yeah. It's like they could feel it. They were like, we're onto something here. Like, this is good. We just wrote something for you that is so fucked up. And I was like, ooh, let me look at it. And I read it and I was like, oh my God. I mean, this is so close to the line that I don't know. Like, also like, this is also really funny because I get what you're going for here. Yeah, it was so
great. It's so good, man.
Is that nerve-wracking? Because even like we're talking about like doing it on TikTok and they're not even our words, and we're still nervous being like, oh shit, we're gonna like,
how's that gonna be?
Are they
received?
gonna think this is what I'm saying? Kind of deal. Is that like, are you like, I really need to nail this perfectly, otherwise it's bad.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it had to be very clear, and it was important to me that it was very clear to the audience that what Dennis was saying, because I never, whether Dennis is a true psychopath or murderer or whatever, is a question that shouldn't ever really fully be answered. So, I wanted to make it as clear as possible that what he was saying was like, I'm never going to do any of the things. I'm never going to do any of the stuff. It's just that she doesn't know that. And that's what I'm taking advantage of. It's the fact that she does not know me well enough to know what I'm capable of. And see, you're laughing now because it's so horrible.
It's so horrible. It is preying upon, the deepest, darkest fears a girl can have, and we're laughing about it.
That's the other thing too that to me made it funny and made it sort of work, is that Dennis isn't even saying that he's not even going to say, he's not, there's no threat. There's no verbal threat. It's just the fact that we're out here in the ocean in the middle of nowhere is sort of enough to make you go,
The best. It's all time. It's all time. I mean, as we're talking through it here, I think I would have to declare that the best Dennis Reynolds moment ever. When you really, when you break it down to that level, there is so much to unpack there. It is special.
My personal favorite, I think, is still trying to sell the Range Rover in the water.
Yeah.
But it's an amphibious vehicle. Do you have more interest in going this route? Like I saw there are some reviews that were like, Glenn Howerton is absolutely amazing in this film, and he should be looked at more for the comic book villain angle. Is that something you're more interested in?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, send me those reviews because I'd love to do that. That always feels good. Just hearing you say it just fills me with pride. But yeah. I mean, absolutely. I when I was in school, when I was growing up and sort of training to be an actor and heading out into the professional world, I always felt I was identified more as a character actor, but then I guess, certain people were like, well, you're kind of handsome. Like, what if you just play like the normal guy? And I was like, how do you fucking make that interesting? I'm just a guy. Like, that's not interesting. It took me a while to sort of figure out how to be the straight man, just be like a normal, So like early in my acting career, my early 20s in college and stuff, I saw myself doing almost exclusively the kind of stuff that I did in Arch Enemy. More character stuff, more drama. So it's fun to kind of get back in touch with that younger actor in myself who always wanted to do shit like that and get to do it again. So yeah, I mean, that'd be a blast. Playing bad guys is also just so fun. I mean, every actor says that, and it's true. I mean, it just gives you so much to sink your teeth into, and you get to act out certain things that you hopefully don't do in real life.
Get that out of your system.
But you really want to.
Yeah. Scratch that itch without going. What about movies versus TV? Do you have a preference there as far as the craft, if you will?
I've gotten so used to working in TV where there's almost no kind of rehearsal and everything moves super fast, that I've sort of learned to just kind of come ready and just be ready to kind of let it fly and see what happens.
Right.
So I'm certainly more comfortable with that actually than in most films where you actually are like, you're going to rehearse and you're going to sit down with the director and talk about the character and all this kind of stuff. Like all that stuff I find a little intimidating. But I did all that with Arch Enemy. I actually worked way more on that than I have on most things, and spent a lot of time talking to the director about it. I mean, a lot of time talking to the director about the character and filling in all the blanks. And, but also with that, because I just wanted it to be convincing. I didn't want to go in there and pull from my old bag, from the same bag of tricks that I'm used to pulling from. I wanted it to feel like a real guy. Yeah, I mean, the process was different for me, and I think the process on most films is different insofar as you usually get a little more time to work on it. So, but there's fun in just being spontaneous. But if I'm going to transform and be a totally different human being, the time to kind of be able to work that out in a film is a little bit better.
Have you kept up with this HBO Max Warner Brothers Studio news that broke this week, where all their films, all Warner Brother films, will be available on HBO Max for anybody who subscribes? So it goes immediately to streaming, which Christopher Nolan and a handful of other directors and studios are, I guess, furious about. And I think it's a combination probably of money, but also, maybe the way they film a movie is intended to be on the big screen versus television. Do you have, if you put all this work into a movie and then you think about people just watching it on their 40-inch screen at home, does that bother you, or do you not care, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's like, sort of getting mad that you can see pictures on your cell phone. Like,
right.
It does not, it's what's happening. Forget it.
It's like fighting the tides,
You're fighting. It's just not going to have there's no fighting it. And especially during, times like this when everybody's at home and they can't go to theaters, or they shouldn't go to theaters. What else are you going to do? And the thing that upsets me, honestly, and I've ranted about this before, but is the sort of motion smoothing settings that are on TVs these days that come preset, so that when you unbox your brand new flat screen TV and you mount it and you turn something on, it's automatically set to this motion smoothing thing, which is really, arguably intended, I guess, for like sports. You can really see every single detail, but it really makes films look terrible. It makes films and TV shows look really, really bad.
It's got like that soap opera look almost, right?
Yeah.
It just looks a little,
Yeah, totally. I would just urge all the companies that make televisions to just, if you're going to have that feature, okay, fine, but don't have that be, because a lot of people, I'll go over to somebody's house. If I go over to somebody's house and there's something on their TV and they've got motion smoothing on, I go, hey, I pull them aside and I'm like, this is wrong. And they're like, what are you even talking about? And I'm like, I don't care if you see it or not. I'm going to fix it.
Just give me a remote. Yeah.
I had no idea that was even a thing until I think it was when Mission Impossible 7 came out. And Tom Cruise did like a Twitter video where he's like,
yeah, that's right, he did.
Before, I forget what it was for. It must have been Mission Impossible. I feel like he was in Top Gun gear, but I think he was just on set of Top Gun.
So it's like, it's supposed to look like this, and here's how it looks.
He's like, it was like, and I was like, I'd never even heard of this thing. And I changed it right away because obviously Tom Cruise told me to. And it does make a difference. Like usually a lot of those things, I don't have the ear or the eye for it, but I think you do notice that with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are they might register it sort of subconsciously when they first get their TV. They look at it and they're like, well, this looks a little weird. And then they just get used to it and they're like, yeah, whatever. And they don't even notice it, And then you turn it, like I turn it off. And there's certain friends of mine, and I'm not kidding when I say I do this at people's houses. Like, I've had some friends that are like, I don't notice the difference. And I'm like, that's fine. As long I notice the difference, that's okay with me. And then there's other friends of mine that are like, oh shit. Oh yeah, and I'm like, God damn it, these fucking why are they? So that I think is probably the most objectionable thing to watch. I mean, most people have pretty big TVs these days, and a lot of people have surround sound systems, or at least like a cool sound bar.
Right. But you know what? Even so, you make a arch enemy. It's gonna have these big action scenes, and sure, would it be better on the big screen with the surround sound in the theater? Yes, but you think about how many more people it's gonna reach on demand, or how many more homes or shared experiences you can have with your buddies, your family, your friends watching it. It's like, I think it all kind of comes out in the wash in one way or another, and I don't think it's worth getting too upset about.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, I also, to look at it from the standpoint of a filmmaker like Christopher Nolan, the way his movies are, I mean, they're very clearly meant to be seen. Like,
sure. He makes
something about them that, yeah, just the way they're shot, the way they're lensed. It's just like to not even have the opportunity, or to give most people the opportunity to see it on the big screen.
Stuff.
I get it. It's in there. There's a sort of like a feeling of loss too, because like, all those filmmakers, including including myself. I mean, we all grew up. That's where I watched most movies, was in movie theaters. Even old movies. I would go to the classic movie theater and go see the classics in theaters, the way they were intended.
There's a few in New York right now that you can rent out for up to 20 people for like $99, which I think is like, I feel like I spend $100 when I go to the theater as is buying, So like they're running Christmas movies. I think I'm going to grab, their mom and my kids and go, watch Elf for like $100 and have our theater to ourselves. It's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're going to hit you with a couple hypotheticals here before we let you go. You've played this before. Answer the internet. So we'll give you a couple here. Would you rather go 3 straight summers without drinking or live a full year in Antarctica?
3 straight summers or live a full year in Antarctica. I think I might enjoy living in Antarctica.
Yeah, the cold, the dark, like there's that, portion of the year where it's dark 24 hours a day. You like all that?
I was gonna say you're making good selling points right now. I'm like, yeah, I like that.
But all right. I feel like last time we spoke, are you a tequila guy? I feel like you enjoy a cocktail, right? You said you were drinking during quarantine. Imagine, a summer night. You want to have a cocktail during the sunset or at the beach. Nothing for 3 straight.
It's no good. No, it's no good. I'd rather look. I mean, if we're talking, John Carpenter's The Thing Antarctica experience, and obviously that's a big no. But if we're just talking about, being kind of sequestered out there in some decent barracks, with a couple bottles of vodka and a warm hat, I don't know.
Warm hat, yeah.
Like a bunch of movies and some catch up on all my shows and movies and
kinda
all my.
Nice.
You're describing quarantine. We've lived in Antarctica for a year.
That is true.
Right? Like,
it's been all right. It's been all right.
If you could be the patron saint of something, what would it be?
I'm not even entirely certain I know what that means. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, no, it's not. We usually gotta have to clarify.
Like Saint Valentine is the patron saint of love.
Right. Fuck. I don't know.
I feel like, what? I feel like it's Glenn Howerton, the patron saint of like quarterly. Got to do something crazy. Every few months, you just got to do something a little fucking nuts.
The patron saint of mental breakdown.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit you with one more here.
Shaving all your hair off.
One more here. It's maybe this is more of a question for Dennis per se. It's dark. It's out there. If in order for you to live, you had to kill a child, a blind child who is the voice of a generation. Would you kill the kid or would you sacrifice yourself?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, wait, why is the kid blind and why is that?
I don't know.
Because for some reason it matters.
That was the question.
Like it does make it worse.
He's blind. Yeah, you're even meaner. He's blind and he's got a voice like, it moves you to tears. It's either you or him, pal.
So the choice is like either he dies or I die, basically.
Yep.
And it's up to me. And would anyone find out what I've done?
No, you get away scot-free.
Yeah, totally free. But it's on your conscience, but you're good. Nobody knows.
Okay, so it's on my conscience, but that's it, huh?
Yeah.
I think I'd off myself.
I was hoping for something else.
There was a big buildup. I'd strangle him to death with my bare hands. All right, man. I love it. Thanks so much for the time. Arch Enemy is the movie. It's out December 11th.
Right? Yep.
So go check it out. Glenn and Joe chopping it up in this baby supernatural, alien, sci-fi, superhero. It's wild. It's a wild trip, man. So go check it out. And thanks so much for the time, as always.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah. Yes, thanks, man.
Have a good one. Listen, if you made it this far into the video,
which is far, like no one ever does that on the internet.
Like it's the end. You made it to the end of the video.
Full fucking video.
You watched the whole thing. So if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, why don't you subscribe?
It means you like us.
Click the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm gonna fucking murder John.
And I'm gonna like it.
Kill him with my bare fucking hands.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sold on this video, there's plenty more. Watch what's next up and then subscribe. But just subscribe so I don't have to fucking kill him.
Well, I don't know. Do what you want, but subscribe. Probably.